What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7890, your favorite shooter and hip hop enthusiast. Now, before I get started here, I'm trying to work on this gnarly ass beard. I don't know if you can see it. See that? Look at that. Wow. Would love to grow it, but job hates beards. So I would love to have me just a fat ass, just Mark Henry, Eric Young, just manly, just man beard. But it's not gonna happen because my work is fucking retarded. Now, with this video here, what I want to talk about was topic that's been rolling around in my mind. I keep seeing stuff about it. People really, the way that people rate and review matches is becoming different now. And what I mean by different is people aren't really giving the love to Spotfest matches, aren't giving as much love to matches with no selling. And I just want to do, the topic of this is going to be, there is a place for, there is a place for no selling. There is a place for Spotfest. My problem in matches now, as of late, is overkill. Overkill. Lots of overkill. Too much, too long, too boring. And I'll get to that. That's the second part of this thing. But the first thing I want to talk about is Spotfest. Okay. The reason I think there is a place for this is, there's matches that are just purely just wrestling matches. And then you also have the Spotfest matches, and people are saying, okay, this match was, the Spotfest match wasn't as good because it was just guys flying around and doing just spots and flips and whatever. This other match, it was just mostly in the ring. They were just wrestling, and this match was not on the same level. I don't think that's fair to say, because if a match captivates you, regardless of what they're doing, wrestling has evolved, into something totally different, in the 2000s. It had to, because, it can't always be the same. Everything can't always be the same. It's hard to top things. That's why I feel like a lot of people, wrestling companies, and I wouldn't say WWE and TNA so much, more just indies and Japanese wrestling, they're really trying to just too much overkill. They're really trying to just top what they did last time, and they really don't need to. But yeah, the Spotfest thing, I think, and the example I always use is, or I'm going to be using a lot now, is the Destination X 4-way. That was the TNA match of the year. There obviously were other matches, singles matches that were on the same level as it. Like the Bobby Roode Styles match. Iron Man, the Styles AJ match was pretty good as well. So there was singles matches that were just wrestling matches. They weren't spots. But I was more entertained and I was more drawn in by this 4-way and how good it was for the 14 minutes it was, compared to a 30-minute Iron Man match. That match was still good, but I still feel like this one was better, and it kept me entertained, it kept me drawn in for the whole 14 minutes or whatever it was. I wasn't bored whatsoever. So I do think there is a place for Spotfest matches. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is no selling. A lot of people are really getting on Davey Richards hardcore for no selling a lot, and not, John Cena as well is one of those guys who's been doing it for years. And it's the Superman gimmick where he kind of just, doesn't sell the big moves, and, he doesn't sell, spots for other guys. And I think in certain circumstances that's okay. I think that's an okay thing, because, if everyone's wrestling the same and everyone's doing the exact same thing, wouldn't it become boring to you? I know there's a place for it, but I don't want to see it all the time. Like, I don't want it to be something that I would, have in a bunch of matches, a bunch of just no selling on everything. But even in PWG, they're sometimes they just, the no selling and the Spotfest it just becomes too much. But I think there is a place for it, and people, putting it below, other matches because it was just a Spotfest. I don't think that's fair. And here's the thing, and I'm not gonna tell anybody how to, rate or doing, how to rate their matches, star rate their matches, because at the end of the day, it really is just your opinion. But, most of the time, a lot of matches with a lot of people are, within a star or star and a half, of everyone else's opinion. If someone was to tell me that, a WWE Divas match on Raw was 4.5 stars, I would think they were mentally retarded. That's just one example of something being completely outrageous. But I personally do feel like there is a place for Spotfest. There is a place for no selling in wrestling. You know, and I enjoy some of those matches. I think, you know, and here's the thing. Now I'm going to get to is the overkill. How much can you do those things before it becomes overkill? Now I'm going to talk about overkill, not really too much like overkill on spots or, you know, basically just overkill where matches are going way too long. They're putting way too much, you know, time on these things, and they're being drug out, and they're doing way too much, and it's really just becoming unbelievable. One of the biggest examples of this is definitely the Davey Richards Eddie Edwards match from Final Battle. You know, the one from Best in the World was great. It was, you know, exactly what I expected it to be. It was good. It had the big spots. It had the big finish. It had the emotional moment. It was definitely a top 5 match in my opinion from 2011. The one from Final Battle, it was so just overkill. It really did not need the last 10, maybe even 15 minutes. It was very, very just drawn out and so much overkill. And I was just sitting here and just going like, man, it's just. And after it was done, I really wanted to give it I gave it a high rating, and then I just kept thinking about it. I was just like, man, that was just so much overkill, and it was just so much just going on, and it really didn't fulfill me as a fan. Like I didn't want that much. You know, they say sometimes less is more. You know, that in some cases that's true. If you're a good enough wrestler to carry, you know, that kind of match that long, where you can really wrestle and do that, but it just seems like the overkill in wrestling nowadays, and especially in the indies, and in Ring of Honor in particular, and sometimes in PWG. I don't really see too much in Chikara. Chikara is a great example of less is more. They do, you know, a lot of shorter matches, nothing really big. I hear a lot of bitching from people saying, you know, Chikara was great, I love the storyline, I love everything they do, but they never have that big, great 4.5 star, yes, that's the shit match. And I think sometimes that's better not to have that, because people get really bored with it, you know, when they have those same matches over and over and over again, and they do the same thing, and it's 10 to 15 minutes over what it should be. It's really just drawn out. So, let me know what you guys think about this topic here, because it really has been going around in my head, because I keep seeing people, you know, talking about how this match was just a spot fest, and it doesn't deserve to have that, you know, a high rating, and this match had some no selling in it, and it was bad from there, and you know, I don't think that's true. I think you got to look at it with an open mind. You really can't just because me personally, I'm not a narrow-minded person when it comes to wrestling. I like all different types of things. I like strong style. I like Japanese style. I like, you know, grappling. I like all kinds of different styles of wrestling. You know, I'm not just one. You know, I like the hardcore style. I like the Chikara style. I like it all. You know, and sometimes there is such a thing as a good CZW ultra-violent match. There is such a good thing. You know, there is such a thing as a good Chikara style match. You know, and it depends on how the match is structured. And I think that's really the big thing that people need to think about is, you know, and in particular, you know, wanting the same thing out of every match from every company. You know, that's not going to happen. And I know that's a lot of times people, you know, stop watching a certain promotion because they don't put on the type of match they like, and they like that match and that type of wrestling. And that's why they watch that, you know, this specific promotion, or they quit watching this promotion. I'm not like that. I'm open-minded. If I'm coming into, you know, a street fight, I know it's going to be a street fight. I'm not expecting, you know, oh my God, these guys didn't wrestle? They didn't get in the ring and they didn't wrestle? No, it's a street fight. That's what it was supposed to be. Oh, there's 4 X Division guys in a match, an Ultimate X match. Oh, these guys didn't get on the mat and they didn't wrestle? They didn't do any submissions? Oh, that match sucked. No, I don't believe that. And also with the, you know, 2, you know, just crazy dynamic forces getting in the ring against each other, you know, big, you know, megastars, and one guy getting over. And the big example of this would be Rock versus Cena. Wow, are you going to, I mean, who, okay, here's the deal. With that match there, if someone's going to tell me that they would expect, you know, Rock and Cena to get over on each other in the match, like and make the other guy look good a lot, it's not going to happen. You know, The Rock is not going to, you know, make Cena look like the greatest thing ever. Cena's not going to make The Rock look like he's the greatest thing ever. You know, and here's the thing. That's a big thing that I think that's going to, you know, be a problem with that match is one guy's not going to be willing to get the other guy over when it comes to, you know, who's going to sell for who. So that match right there is just going to have an enormous amount of no selling. So if anybody says it won't, then they're crazy. I may do a video about that, because I think that's an absolute truth in that match, and it's going to be just a complete just no selling match right there. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about, you know, Spotfest and wrestling. Why do people hate Spotfest now? Nobody likes Spotfest, and everyone thinks they're bad. No selling. Everyone thinks no selling is bad in wrestling. I mean, there is a place for both those things. And Overkill. Overkill's my real problem. That's my real problem. My real problem is not Spotfest. My real problem is not no selling. It's the overkill. It's trying to do way too much in a wrestling match, and it making it just so drawn out and boring. So that's my topic right there. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm the Mad Scientist, your favorite shooter and hip-hop enthusiast. Look out, I'm getting ready to do this cop and drop hip-hop albums for January. Not too many albums, a lot of mixtapes. So look out for that if you're a hip-hop fan. And I'm out of here. Peace.